Center for the Ethiopian Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on the common uses of 3 laboratory bases. In our last lesson, we discussed the differences between strong and weak bases and concentrated and dilute bases. We also discussed some safety precautions that are important for handling bases in a laboratory. We learned how to prevent contact with corrosive bases and what to do if we accidentally do come into contact with them. In today's lesson, we will describe the common and indirect uses of sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, and ammonia. This will show us how some of the chemicals we have been learning about are used in real-world scenarios. Shall we begin? Sodium hydroxide is one of the most important laboratory and industrial chemicals. As we learned in our last lesson, it is also known as caustic soda. Another name for it is lye. In a laboratory setting, sodium hydroxide is used to absorb carbon dioxide, as well as other acidic gases. This is quite helpful during a number of organic reactions, in addition to chemical analysis. Sodium hydroxide is used industrially to manufacture a large number of products. It is used to make soaps, detergents, pulp, paper, textiles, and dyes. It is also used to produce cosmetics and pharmaceuticals, to purify aluminium ore, and to refine petroleum. It can be used to digest the tissue of animal carcasses as well. This process is implemented when roadkill is deposited in garbage dumps. Sodium hydroxide is used to dissolve and dispose of the remains. Another common use for sodium hydroxide is as a drain cleaner. When drains become clogged, this product is poured down the affected drain, usually in the form of dry crystals or a thick liquid gel. The sodium hydroxide converts clogged grease into water-soluble soap, which can then be flushed away. Heat makes this conversion occur at a faster rate. Potassium hydroxide is another base that we discussed in our last lesson. It is also referred to as caustic potash. Potassium hydroxide is a stronger base than sodium hydroxide. It is also more expensive. While potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide can be used interchangeably for a number of applications, sodium hydroxide is often preferred because of its lower cost. However, there are many uses for potassium hydroxide. It is used to manufacture biodiesel, soft soaps, and some dry cells. It is also used for more specific purposes, such as chemical cremation, used by scientists for the purpose of studying animal composition. Potassium hydroxide dissolves tissues to expose the skeletal structure. It is also used in the resomation process, which is used to cremate human remains. Students, let us do an activity. Please describe common uses shared by both sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. Why is sodium hydroxide favored for these uses?
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello, everyone. I wonder how you did on this activity. Let us go through it together. Sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide share a number of uses. For example, they can both be used during the production of soaps, in the processing of fuel, and to dissolve animal tissues for study and disposal purposes. However, sodium hydroxide is often preferred because it has a lower cost. If you answered that correctly, well done. Calcium hydroxide is a commonly used base that is also referred to as slaked lime or lime water when it is dissolved in water. Calcium hydroxide is a weaker base than both sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. It is used in the laboratory in aqueous solution to test for the presence of carbon dioxide gas. Industrially, calcium hydroxide is used to remove soil acidity, manufacture bleaching powder, and to remove temporarily hardness of water. It is also used to produce mortar, which is a mixture of lime, sand, and water. Mortar is used to bind material for laying bricks and plastering walls. The last common base we will discuss in this lesson is ammonia. In the laboratory, it is used as a reagent. A reagent is a substance that is added to a system to bring about a chemical reaction. Solutions of gaseous ammonia in water are used as household cleaning agents. These solutions are often used to clean glass and stainless steel surfaces because they provide a nearly streak-free shine. Ammonia is also used to manufacture ammonium fertilizers. In fact, the majority of the ammonia produced globally is used for this purpose. Students, we have time for one last activity. Several of the bases we discussed were referred to by more than one name. Please list the alternative names for sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, and calcium hydroxide. You may work with a partner for this activity.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up! Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello again, students. Were you and your partner able to recall the alternative names for the bases we discussed? Let us list them now. Sodium hydroxide is also referred to as caustic soda or lye. Potassium hydroxide is also referred to as caustic potash. Calcium hydroxide is also referred to as slaked lime or lime water when it is dissolved in water. Great work, everyone. Today, we learned about some of the common and indirect uses of sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, and ammonia. We also learned some of the alternate names for these bases. In our next lesson, we will learn about the preparation of salts. This brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.